In life, many of us try to remain honest, work hard, and live according to the values taught to us by our families, elders, or faith. We convince ourselves that honesty will always pay off, that patience will always be rewarded, and that goodness will never go unnoticed. And most of the time, that is true. But sometimes, one single moment of weakness, just a tiny thought that whispers in our mind, can be powerful enough to destroy years of honesty, patience, and sacrifice. Have you ever thought about this? That one decision, made in a single heartbeat, could either open the door to unimaginable success or slam it shut forever. Today's story is one you should listen to carefully, because it carries a message for every person who has ever battled with greed, temptation, or impatience. Many years ago, there lived a young man named Jake. He wasn't born into wealth, nor was he given a life of comfort. Instead, his days were filled with struggle. From the time he was a boy, Jake had to learn how to fight for every meal, every coin, and every opportunity. By the time he reached adulthood, he was used to hardship. His daily routine was always the same. Wake up early, search the town for any small jobs that would earn him a few coins, come home exhausted, cook a very simple meal, and then fall asleep, only to repeat the cycle again the next day. Jake wasn't lazy. He wasn't careless. He wanted more in life, but no matter how hard he tried, opportunities never seemed to come his way. What set him apart, however, was his honesty. People in the town knew that Jake would never lie, never cheat, and never betray someone's trust. It was the only treasure he carried in a life otherwise marked by poverty. One evening, after spending the whole day wandering through the streets in search of work, Jake found nothing. His pockets were empty, his stomach rumbled with hunger, and his heart felt heavier than ever. As he walked back home, shoulders slumped, he heard a voice call out from behind. "Is there anyone here who can help me carry something?" Jake turned around and saw an old man standing by the roadside. The man looked frail, with a long white beard and tired eyes, yet beside him were 3 large duffel bags, so heavy they seemed almost impossible for one man to handle. The old man said, "I need to reach the next village before night falls. I can carry 2 of these bags myself, but the third one is too heavy. If you help me, I will give you 3 gold coins." Jake's eyes widened. 3 gold coins were more money than he usually earned in several weeks. Without hesitation, he agreed. But the moment he lifted the bag onto his shoulder, he was stunned by its weight. "This feels like a mountain," Jake muttered. The old man gave a calm smile. "Of course, it is full of bronze coins." Even though it was heavy, Jake tightened his grip and started walking beside the man. As they traveled together, Jake noticed something strange. The old man kept glancing at him again and again, as though waiting for Jake to make a wrong move. At first, Jake ignored it, but soon the thought crept in. Does he think I'm going to steal from him? Jake shook his head, almost laughing at the idea. "No, I'm not a thief. I don't betray people. I only want to work hard and earn honestly." They walked on until they reached the bank of a river. Without waiting, Jake stepped into the water, determined to cross quickly. But the old man stayed behind on the other side. "I cannot cross this river," he said with worry. "I am too old. If I try with these 2 bags, I might drown. Will you take 1 more bag for me? Don't worry. We'll pay you 3 more gold coins." Jake agreed instantly, but as he reached for the bag, the old man pulled it back. "Promise me," he said firmly. "Promise you will not run away. This bag contains silver coins." Jake was irritated now. "Why would I run away? Do I look like a thief to you? I don't cheat people for money." The old man studied his face carefully, then handed him the bag. Jake carried it across the river with effort, his feet slipping against the rocks. Yet his mind stayed strong. Not even the sight of silver tempted him. After crossing, the 2 men continued walking until they came to the base of a hill. Jake began climbing slowly, his legs burning with effort. But again, the old man remained behind. "Why are you still standing there?" Jake shouted down. "I am too weak to climb with this last bag," the man replied. "Will you carry it for me?" Jake called back. "Of course, give it to me." But once again, the old man hesitated. "This bag contains gold coins. If you run away, I will never be able to catch you." Jake frowned. His patience was wearing thin. "How many times must I tell you I am honest? In fact, I once worked for a loan company. They asked me to lie about a client's records, but I quit the job instead of betraying my principles. I will not cheat you." The old man, after a long pause, finally handed the last bag to Jake. "Take it. Go ahead and climb. I will follow slowly. Wait for me on the other side." Jake lifted the bag and started walking. His steps grew heavy, but not because of the weight, because of the thoughts entering his mind. At first, they were faint whispers. "If I run away now, the old man will never catch me." He shook his head, trying to ignore it, but the thought came again, louder this time. "Why not? With these 3 bags, I will be rich forever. No more empty pockets, no more sleepless nights. I can build a beautiful house, marry a beautiful woman, live like the people I've always admired." He quickened his pace. Besides, he reasoned, the man is old. What will he even do with all this money? But I am young, have my whole life ahead of me. If I take it, I can use it better than he ever could. The whispers became desires. The desires became a plan. Temptation wrapped around Jake's heart, and before he could stop himself, he began to run faster and faster, clutching all 3 bags. When he reached home, his chest heaved with excitement. Sweat poured down his face as he dropped the bags on the floor. He untied the first one eagerly, then froze. Inside were not bronze coins, not silver coins, not gold coins, but plain ordinary stones. Confused, he opened the second. Stones again. The third, still stones. His heart sank. What was this? Had the old man tricked him? Then at the bottom of the last bag, he found a folded piece of paper. With trembling hands, he opened it and read the words, "I am the king of this land. I have grown old and have no family, no heir to my throne. For many years I have searched for an honest man whom I could adopt as my son and entrust with the future of this kingdom. I tested you today. If you had resisted temptation, if you had not run away, you would have been the one I chose. But now I see even the honest can fall when greed enters the mind." Jake's knees buckled. The paper slipped from his hands. For a long time he sat in silence, his heart drowning in regret. His whole life he had been honest. His whole life he had refused to betray others. But in one single moment, a greedy thought entered his mind and destroyed everything. If only he had controlled his thoughts for just a little longer. If only he had stayed patient. His future could have been brighter than anything he ever imagined. Instead, his weakness cost him the chance to be king. And that is the truth about our minds. Every action begins with a single thought. A thought can seem harmless, but if we allow it to grow unchecked, it takes root, turns into words, into actions, into habits, and finally, into the very destiny we live. Even the strongest, even the most honest, can be defeated not by enemies outside, but by the whispers within their own mind. There's an old saying, "Even our worst enemy cannot harm us as much as our negative thoughts can." That was the lesson Jake learned too late. So let us take this story as a reminder. Guard your thoughts. Plant seeds of honesty, kindness, patience, and gratitude. Because thoughts are like seeds in a field. What you plant today will become the harvest you live with tomorrow. If your thoughts are greedy, selfish, and dishonest, the harvest will be regret, emptiness, and pain. But if your thoughts are honest, pure, and filled with positivity, the harvest will be peace, success, and a life worth living. So protect your mind, protect your heart. Don't let one moment of weakness rob you of a lifetime of opportunities. And always remember, be patient, be grateful, and keep moving forward.